Two cities, unimaginable wealth, unspeakable wickedness. They had everything: fertile land, overflowing storehouses, 3 harvests every year. But abundance without gratitude turned sour. The poor knocked on doors and found them shut. Strangers who once found hospitality now found hostility. Every kind of wickedness found a home within those walls. And the cries of the oppressed reached heaven. Then fire fell from the sky. One man was dragged to safety. One woman looked back and paid the ultimate price. Watch until the end, because this isn't just an ancient story. It's a warning about where comfort without conscience leads. And it might be the most important lesson you hear today. If stories like this move you, hit that like button and share this video. Subscribe to Arc Films channel. It means the world to us. Let's begin. There was a time when all people spoke the same language. They gathered on a plain and said to one another, "Let us build a city with a tower that reaches the heavens. Let us make a name for ourselves." But God came down and saw their pride, and He did something no army could do. He reached into their minds and changed their tongues. The man laying bricks suddenly spoke words his brother could not understand. Fathers called out to sons and heard only foreign sounds in return. Chaos swept through the construction site. Arguments erupted. Work stopped. No one could coordinate. No one could lead. The tower stood unfinished, and humanity scattered.
What is happening? I cannot understand anyone. My own family speaks like foreigners.
Some wandered for weeks, others for months. They crossed deserts where the sun cracked their lips and emptied their water skins. They buried children along the way. They wondered if they would ever find a place to call home again, until one group descended into a valley unlike anything they had ever seen. The Jordan Valley. Green, watered, alive. After so much death and dust, it looked like paradise.
We have wandered long enough. Here, we begin again.
They pitched their tents by the water. They planted their first seeds, and the ground gave back more than they had ever imagined. Years passed, then generations. 5 cities rose from the plain: Sodom, Gomorrah, Admah, Zeboim, and Zoar. Each had its own king, each had its own walls, but 2 cities towered above the rest. Sodom, ruled by King Bera, became the seat of power. Its workers shaped millions of mud bricks and stacked them into walls 5 meters thick. A 4-story palace rose at its center, and from its rooftop, Bera looked down on an empire. The city had something no other could boast: 2 springs inside its walls, one warm and one cold, channeling water directly into the homes.
Let the other cities trade and farm. Sodom rules.
Gomorrah, ruled by King Bersha, became the heart of commerce. Its market stretched for blocks, filled with merchants from Egypt, Babylon, and beyond. Caravans arrived daily carrying spices, textiles, and silver. What Sodom had in power, Gomorrah had in wealth.
Every road in the valley leads to my gates. Every coin eventually passes through my hands.
The 3 smaller cities, Admah, Zeboim, and Zoar, served their larger neighbors. They grew the grain. They raised the livestock. They depended on the protection of Sodom and the trade routes of Gomorrah. Together, the 5 cities formed a kingdom of plenty. 3 harvests each year, storehouses overflowing. Life was easy. Perhaps too easy. Prosperity has a shadow, and it was spreading across the cities of the plain. The people of Sodom and Gomorrah had more food than they could eat, more comfort than they could enjoy. But abundance without gratitude turns sour. Pride came first. The wealthy walked through the streets as if they had created the harvests themselves. They forgot the valley had been a gift.
We built this. We owe nothing to anyone, not even the gods.
Then came the hardness. The poor knocked on doors and found them shut. Widows begged and received silence. Strangers who once found hospitality now found hostility.
Why should we share what is ours with people who are not our own?
Then came the immorality. Men abandoned the natural way and pursued unnatural desires openly. What was once shameful became celebrated. What was once hidden was paraded through the streets. The strong exploited the weak. The judges protected the guilty. Every kind of wickedness found a home within those walls. The cries of the oppressed rose from the valley, day after day, month after month, and those cries reached heaven. While the cities sank into wickedness, a man named Lot was about to make a choice that would shape the rest of his life. Lot traveled with his uncle Abraham. God had called Abraham to leave his homeland and journey to a new land, a land of promise. Lot came along, and God blessed them both. Their herds multiplied, their wealth increased, their camps stretched wider each year, but the land could not support them both. Their herdsmen quarreled over pastures and wells.
Let there be no strife between us. The whole land is before you. Choose where you will go, and I will take what remains.
Lot lifted his eyes and looked east. He saw the Jordan Valley, green, watered, rich. He saw opportunity. He chose it for himself. Abraham settled in the hill country near Hebron. Lot pitched his tent toward Sodom.
I will stay near the city, close enough to trade, far enough to stay separate.
But nearness became closeness. Closeness became residence. Soon, Lot lived inside the walls. Then war came. 4 eastern kings attacked the cities of the plain and carried Lot away as captive. Abraham gathered 318 men, pursued the enemy, and rescued his nephew. Lot was free. He could have stayed with Abraham in the hills. Instead, he went back to Sodom. The pull of comfort was stronger than the warning of danger. Abraham sat at the entrance of his tent near the oaks of Mamre when 3 figures appeared on the horizon. These were no ordinary travelers appearing in human form. One was the Lord himself. The other 2 were angels. Abraham did not yet understand who they were, but he ran to meet them. He bowed low. He begged them to stay.
My lords, do not pass by your servant. Let me bring water to wash your feet. Rest under this tree. Let me prepare food for you.
They agreed. Abraham rushed to Sarah. Quick, prepare bread from the finest flour. He ran to the herd and selected a tender calf. He brought curds and milk. He stood nearby while they ate, ready to serve. This was hospitality as God intended, the opposite of everything Sodom had become. Then the Lord spoke.
I will return to you about this time next year, and Sarah, your wife, will have a son.
Sarah, listening from inside the tent, laughed to herself. A child. She was 90 years old. Her husband was nearly 100. Impossible.
Why did Sarah laugh? Is anything too hard for the Lord?
Then the visitors rose and looked toward the valley, toward Sodom.
The outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is great. Their sin is very grave. I will go down and see whether they have done according to the outcry that has reached me.
Abraham's heart stopped. Lot. The two angels departed towards Sodom, but Abraham remained standing before the Lord. His mind raced. Lot was in that city, Lot's wife, Lot's daughters. Would God destroy the righteous along with the wicked? Abraham stepped closer. His heart pounded. He was about to do something no man had ever done: negotiate with the Almighty.
Will you sweep away the righteous with the wicked? What if there are 50 righteous people in the city? Will you destroy it and not spare it for their sake? Far be it from you! Shall not the judge of all the earth do what is just?
If I find 50 righteous in Sodom, I will spare the whole place for their sake.
Abraham pressed further. What about 45? God agreed. 40. Agreed. 30. Agreed. Each time Abraham expected wrath. Each time he received mercy.
Please do not be angry, Lord, but let me speak once more. What if only 10 are found there?
For the sake of 10, I will not destroy it.
The conversation ended. The Lord departed. Abraham stood alone under the darkening sky. 10 righteous people. Surely there were 10. Lot and his family alone would be close to that number. Surely the city would be spared. He returned to his tent and waited. The two angels arrived at Sodom as evening fell. Lot was sitting at the city gate, the place where elders gathered, where business was conducted, where a man of position would be seen. When Lot saw the visitors, something stirred in him. Perhaps he recognized they were not ordinary men. He rose immediately and bowed with his face to the ground.
My lords, please turn aside to your servant's house. Wash your feet. Spend the night. You can rise early and go on your way.
No, we will spend the night in the square.
Lot knew what happened to strangers who slept in Sodom's streets. He insisted strongly. They agreed and followed him home. He prepared a meal. He baked unleavened bread. For one evening, his house became an island of hospitality in a sea of cruelty. But before they lay down to sleep, footsteps gathered outside, then voices, then pounding. The men of Sodom surrounded the house, young and old, from every part of the city. No one stayed home. No one objected.
Where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out to us.
What they intended was unspeakable. Lot stepped outside and shut the door behind him.
I beg you, my brothers, do not act so wickedly.
The mob turned on him.
Stand back! This foreigner came to live among us, and now he dares to judge us. We will treat you worse than them.
They pressed against Lot, pushing toward the door, ready to break it down. Then the angels acted. They reached out, pulled Lot inside, and shut the door. From within, a burst of brilliant light flashed through the doorway. The mob stumbled backward, shielding their eyes. When the light faded, they wandered blindly, unable to find even the entrance they had been pounding on moments before. The investigation was over. The city had revealed its heart. Inside the house, the angels turned to Lot. Their words carried the weight of finality.
Do you have anyone else here? Anyone who belongs to you, get them out of this place. The Lord has sent us to destroy it.
Lot's blood ran cold. He rushed into the dark streets to find his sons-in-law. The men pledged to marry his daughters. He pounded on their doors. He told them the city would be destroyed by morning. They must leave now. They stared at him. Then they laughed.
Destroyed? Look around you, old man. The walls still stand. The market will open tomorrow. Go home and sleep.
Lot returned alone, his warning rejected. Dawn began to break. The angels grew urgent.
Hurry. Take your wife and your 2 daughters who are here, or you will be swept away when the city is punished.
But Lot lingered. So the angels seized him by the hand, him, his wife, and his 2 daughters, and pulled them out of the city. The Lord was merciful to him. Once outside the walls, the angels commanded them.
Flee for your lives. Do not look back. Do not stop anywhere on the plain. Flee to the mountains, or you will be destroyed.
But Lot was afraid. The mountains seemed far. He begged for mercy.
Please, my lords, there is a small town nearby. Let me flee there instead. It is small. Let me escape there, and my life will be spared.
The Lord granted his request. The town was called Zor, and for Lot's sake it would be spared. Even in judgment, mercy made room. Lot and his daughters ran toward Zor. The sun rose over the land. Then it began. The Lord rained down burning sulfur from heaven on Sodom, on Gomorrah. Fire fell on all of them at once. The great walls crumbled. The towers collapsed. The palaces where kings had looked down on their empire became tombs. The people who had mocked the poor, abused the stranger, and celebrated wickedness, all of them perished in moments. Only Zor was spared. One small town, because one man had asked for mercy. Lot kept running. His daughters kept running, but his wife stopped. She looked back, and she became a pillar of salt. The command had been clear. She could not obey it, and it cost her everything. Lot reached Zoar with his 2 daughters. Behind them, the valley that had once looked like the Garden of Eden was now a smoking wasteland. The sulfur poisoned the soil. The salt spread across the land. Nothing would grow there again. Not for generations. Not ever. The next morning, far away in the hill country, Abraham rose early. He walked to the place where he had stood before the Lord. He looked toward Sodom and Gomorrah. Dense smoke rose from the valley like smoke from a furnace. The cities were gone, but Lot was alive. The scripture says it plainly. When God destroyed the cities of the plain, he remembered Abraham. Abraham had prayed, and God had answered not by sparing the cities, but by pulling one family out of the fire. The prayer of a righteous man had reached farther than he knew, but the story left behind lessons that still speak to us today. The cities teach us that prosperity without gratitude is dangerous. Sodom and Gomorrah had everything: fertile land, abundant harvests, wealth beyond measure. But they forgot where it came from. Pride replaced thankfulness. Compassion disappeared. The poor became invisible. The stranger became an enemy. Their destruction was not sudden. It was the end of a long road paved with hardened hearts and ignored warnings. What we do with our blessings reveals who we really are. Lot teaches us the danger of drifting. He never planned to live in Sodom. He only looked toward it, then moved closer, then moved inside. Each step seemed small, Each compromise seemed reasonable, and even when angels told him to flee, he hesitated. He had to be dragged out. He survived, but lost his wife, his sons-in-law, and everything he had built. How close have you drifted towards something you never intended to be part of? The time to turn around is before you need to be dragged out. Abraham teaches us the power of prayer. When he heard Sodom would be judged, he stepped forward and spoke to God, not for himself, but for others. His prayer did not save the cities, but it saved Lot. The scripture says, when God destroyed the cities, he remembered Abraham. Your prayers reach farther than you know. Someone's survival may depend on them. Lot's wife teaches us the cost of looking back. She was steps away from safety. All she had to do was keep moving, but her heart was still in the city. She looked back and became a pillar of salt. When God delivers us from something, he asks us to leave it behind. A heart that cannot release the past will never fully enter the future. Finally, this story teaches us that mercy exists even in judgment. Fire fell, cities burned, but angels took a family by the hand and pulled them to safety. A small town was spared because one man asked. Judgment is real, but so is mercy. And mercy is always looking for an opportunity to rescue. If you are drifting, stop now. If you are hesitating, move. If you keep looking back, release it. And if someone you love is in danger, pray. The smoke has cleared over Sodom, but the lessons remain, written in salt and ash, waiting for anyone willing to learn. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs it. Subscribe to ARC Films. It means the world to us. And tell us, which Bible story should we tell next?